What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another fantasy football video. This one we got the top 5 breakout wide receivers for the 2017 fantasy football season, and really just football in general. Before we start, 2 honorable mentions. It was really tough for me to get this list down to 5, but 2 of the guys I really wanted to mention and why I didn't put them on the list is Corey Coleman and Marquise Lee. Marquise Lee didn't make it because of the upside. I think that he is a wide receiver 3 to start the year potentially in PPR leagues. Has wide receiver 2 potential, but the upside wasn't there for me as much as some of these guys in this list. And Corey Coleman, the upside's there. I mean, he's most comparable to Odell on playerprofiler.com. He's got all the metrics you can possibly imagine. It's the injuries, these freak injuries that just keep happening. He's got another one now as of recording this, and I don't know, that's just what put me off of him. But we're going to get into this list with John Brown at number 5. ADP right now is about the 10th round, depending on your scoring. I'm going to do, when I say ADP, like 10th round, 8th round and stuff, it's off 12 team. So 10th round and 41st wide receiver off the board. Also, this is on ESPN. My rank is 8th round and 38th wide receiver. He was a big sleeper of mine last year. If you guys watched the channel last year, you did see I drafted him in a lot of mock drafts, and it was looking great. I mean, he was doing really well to start the year. He had some really nice games, but it just kind of looked like something was off. He started getting injured, and they did find out he has sickle cell trait. The doctors have said it's under control, and he's past it, and that it's not going to be an issue anymore. But, again, these are team doctors, and I know he's probably seen some independent specialists, but I would say that he's still a little bit more of a risk. Like, he's obviously more of a risk to suffer some sort of injury related to sickle cell than someone who we've never heard has it. So I'm not convinced it's 100% gone, but if the doctors are saying he's past it, I'm going to say that it's less of a concern than it was, in the middle of last year when we were wondering what was wrong with him. So he does carry risk, but again, look at him. He's most comparable to Deshaun Jackson, that 3.34 40 times, 70th percentile agility score. And, I mean, look at 2 years ago. This is why he was such a breakout candidate last year. He was going into his 3rd year. He was coming off 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, and he was in position. I mean, everyone was falling apart around him in the offense. It just didn't come through last year, and I think that recency bias is really going to affect his ADP. I mean, you look at it right now, it's 41st for wide receivers, and this is the same thing we see in DFS. When someone has a bad game, their ownership is much lower. So I think that people are off of him because either they got burnt last year or they saw people get burnt last year, and he had a down year. I think that that's probably the wrong way of looking at it. I mean, he was hurt. Like, he was hurt last year. It's not one of those things where you look at a guy and they kind of say he's hurt and we're like, yeah, okay, he probably was just underperforming and that's why he's getting benched. No, he was legitimately hurt last season, and he's still a young player. So I think he can break out this year. All he's got to do is stay healthy. And if you look at it, the first month of the year, according to Warren Sharp's strength of schedule analysis on Roto World, he's got the easiest schedule for wide receivers over that first month. So could he be a guy that goes off real quick and you flip for a better guy? Maybe you draft him in the 8th round. He starts going off, you flip him for someone who's in the 3rd round. I've seen it happen. So if you are scared that he's going to develop this injury, because remember, he didn't have it right away. If he had it, but he didn't develop injuries because of it until about halfway through the year. So if you are concerned about that and he does go off to start the year, by no means do you have to keep him. You can trade him. He's got that easy schedule. And you also really know right away, if he's not breaking out on these easy games, he's not getting the targets. And remember, it's really just Larry Fitz that he has to worry about. I mean, it's J.J. Nelson he does have to worry about a little bit because he has that same role as him. But, he's going to be the number 2 target if he can beat out J.J. Nelson. Because Floyd's gone. They don't really have a tight end option. Obviously, David Johnson's locked up in the backfield, and he's going to get receptions out of the backfield. But Larry Fitz is really the only other guy that's there. So I really think that a 10th round pick for him is a steal. I think he's worth an 8th round pick. You don't have to take him in the 8th round, but I think the 10th round is a steal. Next, we got Jamison Crowder. Love me some Jamison Crowder in drafts. Going in the 6th round right now, wide receiver 29 off the board. My rank, 5th round, 26th wide receiver off the board. So not a huge jump, but again, I think that it's about half a round difference, 3 wide receivers up. And he's yet to miss a game, so he's not injury prone. He's becoming one of the elite slot receivers in the league. Is he elite yet? No. I mean, he's only posted under 850 yards both seasons, but he's getting there. He's getting to be one of those guys that you look to as a weapon from the slot in that offense. You look at Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon are both gone. That's 216 targets and 2,046 yards. They lost two 1,000-yard receivers. They got to throw to someone. And Kirk Cousins is used to him. And remember, Jordan Reed is not exactly the healthiest person in the world. Could be one concussion away from retirement. So Cousins got to throw to someone. I am a Kirk Cousins believer. I think he is the future of that team. If they decide to keep him, they are idiots. If they decide to get rid of him or decide to not sign him to a long-term contract in the coming years. But I think this is his breakout. He's coming into his third year. He's already established himself in that offense. His role isn't going to change with Terrelle Pryor coming in because Pryor's going to be the one. He's going to be the slot guy. I think this is a fantastic pick. If you can get him in the 6th round, that's a steal. I mean, it's honestly a steal. Even looking at what we did last year, the end to the year was slightly concerning. He did have a bit of a dip in production at the end and in that last playoff game. I am not concerned, though. I think that he's going to be a staple in this offense, a reliable piece for Kirk Cousins, and I think he's a great pick. So now moving on to the third potential breakout player, and it's Cameron Meredith. I think that Meredith is going to be the number one receiver. Some people might argue that Kevin White could be their number one. Listen, I don't think Kevin White is going to be an elite wide receiver in the NFL. He was drafted as that fact. He's going to be an elite wide receiver. I just don't think he's going to be. He's been a dud at this point, obviously. He can't stay healthy, can't get on the field. He produced decently when he was on the field, but he just can't get on the field. So he doesn't really have to compete with that many people. I mean, you look at the rest of the roster, and it is Kevin White, Kendall Wright, you got Marcus Wheaton, and actually just looking at that, it's kind of weird they all have W for their last name. Just a side note. But look at his ADP, 10th round, wide receiver 45, basically free. I'm not going to say free. I say 12th round guys are free. So 10th round, I guess, is a little capital in there. But when you're getting a number one wide receiver, I don't care what team he's on. You know what? If you want to argue that he's got a bad team he's on, guess what? They're going to be down a lot, and they're going to be throwing the ball. So I don't think it's a huge thing. I think that the quarterback play is the biggest downfall. He's going to have unstable play. I don't think Trubisky is going to start the year as their number one. Do I think he's going to eventually be the number one, or the starter? I mean, you have to say number one quarterback. Is he going to be the starter at the end of the year? Probably. They're probably going to bring him in because they're probably going to start out really slow. But I think that Meredith's going to be the guy. I mean, 95th percentile catch radius, 88th percentile agility score, 87th percentile burst score. Kid's like 6'4" and fast. He's going to be a red zone threat. He's going to be a deep threat. He's going to be a guy they have to rely on as a possession wide receiver. He's going to be the guy. And if Kevin White goes down again, which you can't really count that out, who else they got? They're going to feed Jordan Howard every single play, but Jordan Howard can't catch it in the backfield. They have an aging, injury-prone tight end. They have no one. And that's what you look for fantasy assets. You look for guys who are number ones, who are talented, who are going to get the targets a lot, and who are just going to be the guy in their offense. And I think Cameron Meredith has the chance to be the guy in his offense. So that's why I have him number 3 breakout, and I feel good about that. I feel great about drafting him. Number 2 is a guy that I like a lot. And it's funny because I like him and I like his counterpart, Adam Thielen, and it's in a low passing offense. But what can I say? Stefon Diggs is good. I mean, you watch him play when he was healthy last year. He is good. Like, not good. He's great. He's a great wide receiver, and he's really young. Remember, he was a super young rookie. He's only 23 right now. And going into his 3rd year, he's 23 years old. He had a down year last year, and he still had 903 yards and 3 touchdowns on 84 receptions. And he was hurt for a large portion of that year. Only played 13 games. 13 games, 903 yards. Showed huge game upside, 2 games over 160 yards. If he stays healthy, I mean, he has a great breakout year, and we're looking at this guy as 2 rounds ahead. He's going in the 4th round. If he stays healthy for 16 games, and again, he got hurt in games, and he was limited in games. If he stays healthy last year, we're looking at a 3rd or 4th round pick right now. But we're getting him in the 6th round, wide receiver 28. I have him as wide receiver 27, 5th round right now. I feel comfortable about that just because he was injured last year, so we can't throw that out for injury concerns. But I do think I'm going to move this up. He's probably going to end up around like 24 to 25, what I'm thinking, for my rankings. If he stays healthy, he's going 90 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and that's conservative. If he stays healthy, he's probably, an upside projection for him is 100 receptions, 1,200 yards. I mean, you watch him play when he was healthy, and he was dominant, absolutely dominant. So I love the pick. Again, it's in a low passing offense, but the target, the people he has to compete with for targets, again, I think Adam Thielen is good, but it's Adam Thielen. It's not some like elite wide receiver. And after that, I mean, Rudolph, I guess, is going to take some targets, but he's a tight end. I mean, Laquan Treadwell, I guess, might progress a little bit in his second year, but I didn't think he was very good at all last year. I told all of you guys to stay away from him. I don't think he's that good of a wide receiver. So it's Diggs. And in a world where Thielen underproduces this year, because remember, he's not some like super elite talent. In a world where he underproduces and Diggs is in his third year, the prime of his life. I mean, he's 23, 24 years old. That's the prime of your life. Like, he's got potential. He's got a ton of potential, so I love that pick. Next guy, number 1, Terrelle Pryor. You guys have already heard me talk up Pryor a ton. I love this pick. And for some reason, I have no clue how he's going in the 6th. No clue. I honestly thought he was going in the 4th round. Then I looked it up, and he's going in the 6th round. That's nuts. I mean, that's absolutely nuts. Going as wide receiver 27. I have his 4th round wide receiver 18. You guys got to pick him. I mean, the kid got 77 receptions, over 1,000 yards for the Browns. It was RG3, McCown, Kessler, Whitehurst, like complete and utter scrubs were throwing him the ball last year. Now you put him on Kirk Cousins, who I think is probably the most underrated quarterback in the league. He's a great quarterback who's going to throw for between 4,500 and 5,000 yards. And if Reed goes down, oh my God. If Reed goes down, and remember, Robert Kelly's terrible, so Samaje Perine and Robert Kelly are what they're relying on for running backs. This guy, I mean, the upside this guy has as a 6th round pick, it makes absolutely no sense. The kid's like 6'4", I think he's like 6'4". Yeah, 6'4", 99th percentile speed score. So he's tall, he's fast. They lost 2,000-yard receivers, like I said, with Jamison Crowder last year. I just don't get it. I don't understand why he's a 6th round pick. The guy has very little injury concerns. He's still 28. 27 is the... I ran it through that like IBM Watson program. 27 was the ideal age to target a breakout wide receiver. He's 28. He's 1 year off, and to be honest, he played quarterback for a lot of his career. So it's not like he has a bunch of or not his career. In college, he played quarterback. He was drafted in like the supplemental draft, so we don't have like he's like a 1st round pick or something like that. He was in the supplemental draft by the Raiders, I believe it was. But regardless, Kirk Cousins is throwing him the ball. He's going to be the number 1. He's going to get the targets. He's going to get the looks in the red zone. They're going to throw the ball a lot. It's a great pick. He's by far the number 1 breakout candidate for me this year. No clue how he's going that late. You guys got to get him while he's this free. And he's probably going to end up going in like the early 5th round when drafts come. But hey, we can take it while we can get it right now. But that's the end of this video. If you watched this far, hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new. On the screen, you can check out our website where you can download our rankings. Check out some articles that we've written. I believe we have 4 or 5 up at this point. You can check out our premium rankings there, giving you player notes, player projections, risk ratings, flyer rankings, all that kind of stuff. Because remember, this is only top 5, and this is only recorded at the end of May 31st, being uploaded June 1st. If you want updated top 10 flyer picks in order, come August, check out the premium rankings. But that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching.